In this video, I'm going to talk about working overtime. So the first thing that you need to know is you get paid if you work extra hours, usually above 40. Overtime is usually either time and a half, your regular pay, which is 1.5 times your regular pay rate, or it's double time, which is 2 times your regular pay rate. So let's do some examples of calculating that now. So for time and a half, we're going to take our regular rate and multiply by 1.5, which is going to give us $21 per hour. For double time, we're just going to take our hourly rate and we're going to multiply by 2. So that would give us $28 per hour. So let's do a couple more examples here. So for $21.60 per hour, our first one is going to be 1.5 times that hourly rate. That would be your time and a half. And then 2 times is going to be your double time rate. So the first one is 1.5 times 21.60, which would be $32.40 per hour. And then your second rate is going to be 2 times 21.60, which would be your double time rate. So $43.20 per hour. Let's do another example down here. For $26.96 an hour, we've got 1.5 times that regular rate per hour. For double time, we've got 2 times 26.96 per hour to give us our double time rate. So for 1.5 times, we've got 1.5 times 26.96, so $40.44 per hour. And then for double time, we've got 2 times 26.96, which is going to give us $53.92 as our double time. Okay, next one over here, $17.25 an hour. For our time and a half rate, we've got 1.5 times 17.25. And then for our double time rate, we've got 2 times 17.25. So 1.5 times 17.25 is $25.88. We're rounding up because that third digit is a 5. And then we've got our double time rate is 2 times 17.25, which gives us an hourly rate of $34.50. $34.50 per hour. Just make sure my units are all right here, per hour. The last one, we've got $15.52 an hour. So our time and a half rate is just 1.5 times 15.52. And our double time rate is 2 times 17. 2 times our hourly rate, so $15.52 per hour. So we've got 1.5 times 15.52, which would be $23.28 per hour for time and a half. And then we'd have 2 times 15.52, which would give us a double time rate of 31.04 per hour. So the other thing that we need to know is how many hours of overtime did you actually work? So if you work 48 hours, and we're saying overtime is above 40. So if I worked 48 hours, I would do 48 minus 40 would give me 8 hours of overtime. If I work 60 hours, I would do 60 minus 40, which would give me 20 hours of overtime. 42.5 minus 40 is going to be 2.5 hours of overtime. And the last one is 52.5. So 52.5 minus 40 is going to be 12.5 hours of overtime. Now let's apply that to a couple situations here. The first example is, as a construction worker, you make $17.25 per hour. This week you worked 51 hours, and overtime is paid at time and a half. So the first thing that we need to figure out is how many hours of overtime did we work. So I'm going to take our total and subtract it by 40, which is going to give me 11 hours of overtime. Once I've done that, now I'm going to calculate my regular pay. So 40 hours times $17.25 is going to give me $690 for my regular pay. Then I'm going to need to figure out my overtime pay. Before I do that, I need my overtime pay rate. So because it's time and a half, I'm going to take 1.5 times my regular hourly rate, which is going to give me 1.5 times 17.25, which is $25.88 per hour. So now that I have that rate, now I'm going to calculate my overtime pay. So 11 hours times $25.88 per hour. $25.88 times 11 is going to give me a total of $284.68 in overtime pay. Now I need my total pay for the week, so I'm going to add those two together, $690 and $284.68. Which is going to give me a total of $974.68 that I earned as a construction worker this particular week. Let's do one more example before we wrap up. This time you're an electrician and you make $22.70 an hour. This week you worked 44.5 hours. So the first thing we're going to figure out is how many hours of overtime did you work. So we're going to take our total number of hours, take away 40, which gives us 4.5 hours of overtime. The next thing that I'm going to do is calculate my regular pay. So 40 hours times $22.70, which is going to give me 40 times $22.70, which gives me $908 for my regular pay. Next thing that I need is my overtime pay rate. So I've got 1.5 times $22.70 per hour, which is going to give me an hourly pay rate of $34.05. So my overtime pay is 4.5 times $34.05, which gives me a total overtime pay value as $153.23. So my total pay is going to be those two numbers added together, 908 plus 153.23, which gives me a total of $1,061.23.